Hunt and Hill. Hunt Palmer, Jeremy Hill, holding down the middle of the day. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios. It's Hunt and Hill. Now on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Welcome in. Hunt and Hill from Walk-Ons on Burbank, just outside of Alec Box Stadium, where tonight the Jay Johnson era begins as LSU takes on Maine at 6:30. It is officially baseball season here in Baton Rouge, and we are going to spend a lot of time talking about it today. I am Hunt Palmer. That is Hill, Jeremy Hill, with you for the next 2 hours from Walk-Ons on Burbank. If you're looking for somewhere to go during lunch, you're knocking off a little bit early, we will be here as a station until 6 o'clock tonight. Us from noon to 2. Early line with Mario and Musso coming up from 2 to 3, and then Matt Moscona after further review from 3 to 6, 6:30 first pitch. It is a perfect spot to swing on by and get ready for LSU baseball this evening, plus the Tigers on the hardwood tomorrow in Columbia, South Carolina. Huge gym meet tonight. Women's basketball on Sunday. We got a ton of tickets to that. If that's something you're interested in, come on by. We got tickets for LSU in Florida on Sunday, and we are fired up to be here at Walk-Ons. Mr. Hill, how are you on a Friday?
I'm doing great, man. Look, I got a nice cold beverage here. Get to watch some Tiger baseball tonight. It's a solid day at Walk-Ons right now.
We are fired up to have former LSU head coach Paul Menari joining us in 15 minutes. We're going to walk down memory lane with Coach Menari. Obviously finished up his run here in Baton Rouge last summer, and we will be with him for about 30 minutes here at 12:15. I just want to go through some of the great moments in his time here in Baton Rouge. We will certainly look forward to this team with Leah Vann at 1 o'clock. She is with The Advocate. It's going to be the new beat writer. We had Leah on last week. We want to have her on here on site and get a little preview of this squad. We'll do a lot of that as well, and certainly we'll look forward to LSU and South Carolina tomorrow on the hardwood. That's all in hour number 2. But, Jeremy, I wanted to start today a little bit sentimental. It's something that it's a little different for me this time around as we go see opening day at the box with Jay Johnson as the head coach of the Fighting Tigers. And it's a new era. And we had the Burtman era, and we've had the Menari era that was so successful, and Jay Johnson starts his now. And as he does, I'm staring, 12 feet from me at an 8-week-old baby that, if this goes the way we think it will, Jay Johnson will be here for 12 to 15 years, just like Skip was and just like Paul was. And by that time, he'll be 12 or 15, and these could be his formative years in terms of watching LSU baseball. I just chatted with Paul Menari. His first game at LSU was my freshman year at LSU, and while Skip, certainly was formative years for a lot of people, Paul Menari's was in a way for me as it was the first time I could come to games and get engulfed in LSU baseball. And Myers will be from Baton Rouge. He'll be in Baton Rouge, and this may be the era that gets him attached to something that is so near and dear to my heart. So, that's a very sentimental way to look at it tonight. But any way you want to slice it, it's the start of a new era. It's something fresh. It's very exciting, and you can already feel the buzz around campus here at Walk-Ons, and it should be on fire in there tonight.
Yeah, you can tell by the way Coach Menari put that foundation here in Baton Rouge.
Yep.
It's the level of consistency he brought to this program year in and year out. That's on full display here. The foundation's set for Coach Jay Johnson. I'm a little young for the Skip Burtman era, but my memory of LSU baseball is definitely through Coach Paul Menari and just all the things he done. And remember that great run they had in Omaha, winning that national championship. That's definitely going to be remembered forever.
We will talk about that with Coach Menari. He will throw out the first pitch tonight of the Jay Johnson era before Blake Money takes the baseball and gets things popping. I can't wait for tonight. Can't wait for the environment. Can't wait for really what will be on this campus all weekend long. When you think about the awesome events, there are going to be more than 20,000 people on campus tonight between a sold-out gym meet and LSU's first game at the box. I expect to be a little chilly. It's going to be a lot of fun. You've been there, gone through an off season, gone through camp, and then you finally get to put the uniform on and go play. What do you think the LSU baseball players are feeling right now as they're having to wait till 6:30 to put the spikes on and go to work?
Yeah, they're nipping at the bit right now. Everything you do, especially during the offseason, all those meaningless, pointless workout the fans don't get to see, no one gets to see, but you're definitely building everything day by day, brick by brick. And they want to get out there and they want to play well. I think this is an opportunity for them to start a new era with a new coach and a new foundation that they're starting to do. And they get to put their talent full display. So I know it's against Maine, but this is a chance for them to go out there and start, doing something special this season.
For you, football's different than baseball. I mean, you can go out there and hit somebody in the mouth in football, and that can kind of relieve that tension and that stress. Baseball, you can't do that. You can hit the ball, you can throw it hard, but is there an element of you don't want to try too hard in that opener, or is it just, hey, open it up and let's go?
Yeah, I think it's a lot of open it up and let's go, especially against an opponent like this. It's just doing what you've done to get here and just not trying to get too high, but high up, not too low. Just kind of do everything that you've been practicing. I know the guys that are going to be ready to hit. This is going to be an opportunity. They're ready to get those bats going, and this is a great time to do that against Maine.
And that's, again, the start of this season that everybody's so excited for. It's the start of a new era. But we're going to go to the past and talk about the last decade plus with Paul Menari here in Baton Rouge. The man has won over 1,500 games in nearly 40 years of coaching and did a great deal of that here at LSU, where he won the Southeastern Conference 4 times and the SEC tournament 6 times, made 5 College World Series, won a national championship. And when you think of the Paul Menari era, what memories does that jog for you? You're a baseball guy, and you've certainly been in Baton Rouge and seen this. I think when we were talking off air, I think sometimes you think of Chad Jones and Jared Mitchell and the football guys he was dealing with over there, who had a remarkably huge influence on his baseball program, and those two on a national championship team.
Yeah, those are exact memories that I had, because at the time I was, a very terrible baseball player in high school, and that was right in the smack dab middle of me being recruited by LSU and everything. So I had some dreams. I'd say those were some big dreams about being a little two-sport athlete. So I was paying real close attention to what some of those guys were doing, and I remember those dreadlocks of Dunes, man, in Omaha. Who would have thought Chad Jones on the mound in Omaha, being able to pitch for the Fighting Tigers of LSU? So just goes to show you, Coach Menari, he'll try some things, and it worked out for him.
I laugh every time I see that Chad Jones pitch. He throws that breaking ball, gets called strike 3 against Texas. He's sprinting off the mound. He goes for the chest bump to Buzzy Heidel, who worked with us on the radio, and Buzzy just gets knocked back. It's like, Buzz, you can chest bump a lot of guys on your team. The All-American safety is probably not the guy that I'm going after, but everybody was hyped up. Everybody was fired up. They were about to win a national championship, and that was quite a moment. I mean, when you think my Chad Jones memories were actually different, because I was working as an intern for Channel 9 during that 2009 run, and the way that LSU would end practice every single day, they'd take BP and they'd do their infield and they'd work, and then the way they would end batting practice every single day, they would get Chad Jones in the box, and they would just throw him BP until he connected on one and just smashed it out. I mean, there weren't bleachers in right field at the time, but just see how far he could hit it. And everybody knew once Chad hit one, you could see it lead the bat. I was like, all right, that's the end of practice. Let's call it in. He was such a physical freak to be able to play at the level that he did on the football field and then come to the baseball field, be the opening day DH for LSU, and then all of a sudden morph into a left-handed pitcher getting outs in the national championship game.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. And just seeing the level of athlete that he is. You don't normally see 6'3", 230-plus pound men, out there on the pitching mound and really delivering heat, man. He had that nice little change of space pitch. Got a couple people out with it, which I didn't definitely see coming going into that season. So it was definitely a pleasure to watch what some of those football guys, from Jared Foster to Jared Mitchell and some of the other guys, got to do for Coach Menari. He definitely doesn't discriminate on that. He'll give guys opportunity to go out there and play for the Fighting Tigers.
We'll look at the national championship in 2009, the 23-game win streak in 2008. We'll look at NOLA versus Gray in the 2013 Super Regional. We'll look at the Rally Possum, the Mississippi State Super going to Omaha. Just so many phenomenal memories with Paul Menari during that era of LSU baseball, and we will get to all those over the next 30 minutes here from Walk-Ons on Burbank. Again, if you're looking for somewhere to come eat lunch, we are broadcasting live right here at Walk-Ons and will be until 6 o'clock tonight. There are some drinks already flowing. The food, as you know, is awesome. So come hang out with us on this Friday for a lunch break, or when you knock off work and start getting ready to head to campus for some events this evening. If you're headed to gymnastics or if you're heading to baseball, this is the spot to be right here, Walk-Ons on Burbank. We'll take a timeout, come back with former LSU coach Paul Menari. That's next on Hunt and Hill.
Hunt Palmer and Jeremy Hill. It's Hunt and Hill.
IV hydration, no longer just for the sick. Many health-conscious people are taking advantage of the amazing benefits of IV nutrient hydrations, and Sync Wellness has set the bar for IV nutrient hydrations in Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas. They've got stellar service. They've got expansive hydration menus. They've got immune support. That's what you're looking for. Performance and recovery, hangover relief. That's just to name a few, and they're ready to meet all your needs over there at Sync Wellness. Give them a call or book And download the Sync Wellness app, SYNC Wellness.
Yeah, Sync has all the professional products that help you stay well and keep your immune system strong. One of the most popular items is their pharmacist-created immune pack, conveniently packaged with vitamin D, vitamin C, and zinc in the doses you need to stay well. They also have their immune support IV hydration pack with vitamin C, vitamin B, and zinc. And if you're feeling too ill to walk into their suite, the registered nurses will administer your IV curbside.
Tell you about them every single day. Sync Wellness, SYNCWellness.com.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Dibs!
Kids have staked out their place at Ochsner Medical Complex The Grove, where more than 30 pediatricians and pediatric specialists are all conveniently located under one roof, so you can spend less time driving and more time keeping your kids well.
Dibs!
It's no wonder kids call dibs at The Grove. Ochsner Health Center for Children.
Bayou Ford has 0.9% for 60 months on new Ford F-150 plus $1,000 bonus cash. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. And right now, get $1,000 bonus cash plus 0.9% APR for 60 months on new 2021 Ford F-150. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Out in the open field here on a Friday from Walk-Ons on Burbank, it is Hunt and Hill. Our distinct pleasure now to welcome a man to the program who won more than 1,500 career games and nearly 40 years on the job. Won the SEC 4 times, SEC tournament 6 times, went to Omaha 6 times, and won a 2009 national championship. That, of course, is former LSU head baseball coach Paul Menari joining us here at Walk-Ons. Coach, thanks so much for making some time. How are you?
Hunt, it's good to see you. It's my pleasure to be here with you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. It is our pleasure for sure. How's that right arm feeling? You're going to be throwing out that first pitch tonight. You all loose? I've seen you throw BP when you're a little cranky with the team, start spinning breaking balls.
Well, you know, it's kind of funny that you asked me about how my arm feels because 4 days ago, I was in touch with Kramer Robertson, and he said, Coach, we need a batting practice pitcher. So the next day, I went out and threw batting practice to Kramer, Antoine Duplantis, Mikey Matuk, and Jared Mitchell. 4 pretty good players, by the way.
Yeah, I would say.
But I had not touched a baseball since June, since I retired. So I threw about 200 batting practice pitches on Wednesday, or Tuesday or Wednesday. But the last 2 days, I haven't been able to lift my arm. So I'm hoping I'm going to be able to loosen up enough to be able to reach home plate tonight.
I think you'll make it work. Well, what I want to do, Coach, with you is just kind of walk down memory lane here, if we could, for a bit. There was just such an unbelievable run here in Baton Rouge and really everywhere that you went. But let's start with your first game, because there's so many similarities, I think, tonight with what it was back then. It was a new era. It was a little bit chilly at the box, and obviously, for me personally, it was my first game as a student. Wasn't able to go to games from Shreveport very often, so it was a treat for me to come watch you play St. Mary's on a chilly night with Charlie Furbush on the mound. What are your memories of that now that it's been since 2007?
I remember everything about it. It's unbelievable that you brought that up. Of course, we were at the old box, and that was before there was a common start date. I remember we played on February the 9th, and it was raining. We had a rain delay. It was really chilly. I had Skip throw out the first pitch, and I caught the first pitch, was kind of symbolic of passing the torch, and that's what I'm doing tonight with Jay Johnson. I'll throw out the first pitch, and Jay will catch it and kind of officially hand the reins to him that way. But I remember that Charlie Furbush went out in the top of the first inning, struck out the side, and in the bottom of the first 2 hitters got on base, and Blake Dean hit a 3-run homer. And at the end of the inning, Skip came into the dugout, and in Skip's own way, he holds out his arms and he says, "It can't get any better than this."
You know what? It did get better than that, but that was a pretty good start. I want to go with the first kind of, and this is loosely used the term moment, but that 2008 team that got on a run for 23 games. What stands out about that? I think of a flare down the left field line and Hoover that just landed out of nowhere, and then Dean hitting homers out of. I mean, what was that like as you were kind of trying to get this thing on track, and then it just took off like a rocket?
Well, Hun, I think you have to go back to the fall. My first season after we beat St. Mary's, we only went 29-26 that year. It was rather thin, but we had some good young freshmen that the previous staff had recruited, and we fought through the season. But when I met with the team the first day of the fall semester, I stood in front of the team and I said the 2008 team will forever be remembered as the team that got LSU baseball back on track, which was a pretty bold comment since we were picked to finish 5th in the SEC West. But we were going along. We were 40 games into the season, and we were pretty mediocre. And Tuesday night at Tulane, DJ LeMahieu came through with a big hit in the 8th inning to give us the lead. We closed out the game, and I told the guys after the game, I said, I've been telling you guys for weeks now, we're 1 pitch away, 1 hit away, one great play away. We have a great team. We're just going to we're that close, and tonight we did it. And tonight we're going to start going on a roll. Well, that was game 1 of a 23-game winning streak. And the game you're talking about, it was at the SEC tournament, opening game. We were on a 16-game winning streak. First game of the SEC tournament, we were down 4-0 going to the 9th inning. Matt Clark hit a 3-run homer to get us close, and then we had DJ LeMahieu on first with 2 outs, and Ryan Schimpf hit the flare down the left field line that hit the chalk. LeMahieu hustled all the way from first base, tied the game. Blake Dean then hit a walk-off home run, and we ended up sweeping the SEC tournament.
Tell me about UC Irvine and closing out the old box. What do you remember about that series?
God. You guys are going to make me cry talking about all these things. So that was, again, 2008, and with 4 weekends to go in the season, we were in 11th place out of 12 teams. Nobody thought we were going to be hosting regionals or super regionals. Well, we won 23 in a row through the regional. Now we had Irvine come in the super regional, and these were going to be the last games in old Alec Box Stadium. And the first night, they pulled the hidden ball trick on us. The umpire called LeMahieu out at second, wasn't even looking. Javi Sanchez got thrown out of the game. And it ended our 23-game winning streak. So we're now down to, we got a winner. The season's over, and the old box is closed down. And the next night, we were down, I believe, 7-2 in the 8th inning. Jared Mitchell led off the 8th inning with a home run, got us a little bit closer, and then we had this great rally in the 9th inning, took a 2-run lead to the bottom of the 9th. Lewis Coleman closed them out. Jared Mitchell made a great catch in left field to start the inning, and we ended up winning the ball game. So the next night now, it's for all the marbles. And I remember being really cocky And remember Cole Wright used to be one of our local anchors, and now I think he went to ESPN, and now I think he's in Chicago covering the Cubs. He asked me to do a pregame interview live with him, and I thought he was just going to take me down the right field line. He took me out, literally out onto Nicholson Drive to do this interview. Well, the people are everywhere, right? So they're all chanting at me and yelling to me, and I turned around and I just screamed at the top of my lungs, "I guarantee you we're going to whip these guys tonight." Well, I thought to myself, they're going to run me out of town if we don't. But fortunately, we hit back-to-back-to-back home runs in the first inning. We ended up hitting 7 on the night and blowing out Irvine to close up the old box and go to Omaha.
Dean, Clark, and Gibbs, as I recall, was the back-to-back-to-back
and
homers.
who hit the last home run in Old Alec?
Buzzy. How you think I'm going to let? Do you think Buzzy's going to let me? Now he doesn't tell anybody about that now because he shot even par at Augusta. So now he's on to Augusta. He doesn't tell anybody about that anymore. All right. Well, now we got to go to 2009. I don't even know where to start with that, but the one swing that I think gets forgotten all the time because it wasn't the end of the game. When you're down to your last strike in game one and DJ hits the double, I mean, we know what he is now, but he was just a sophomore then.
Hunt doesn't get forgotten by me.
I bet not.
You that. Listen, I coached for 39 years, okay? And it's hard to isolate specific plays or hits that you can say made your career for you, okay, as a coach. But that hit I told you about that he got against Tulane in 2008 that won that game for us and started our 23-game winning streak. And then when he got a 2-out, 2-run double in the 9th inning against Texas to tie the game, send it into extra innings. This was game 1 of the finals. Matuk ended up getting the RBI hit. Matty Ott shut him down in the 11th inning. And we won the game, and then we ended up winning the national title 2 nights later. You look back at that double by LeMahieu, and you say, if we'd have lost game 1, would we have ended up winning the national championship? Who knows?
Yeah, could you relax at all when you had that huge lead in game 3?
We did. First of all, we were winning 4-0, and we got Anthony Renato on the mound, and Anthony gave up 2 runs 1 inning, and then in the 5th inning gave up a 2-run home run to let them tie the game. So basically, we had a tie game with 4 innings to play. Now, in the top of the 6th inning, we go out and score 5 runs, bring in Chad Jones out of the bullpen. He pitched great. We added a run in the 8th and a run in the 9th, and Lewis Coleman pitched the last 2 innings. So we ended up winning 11-4. Everybody thought it was so easy. But I remember grouping the team up in the dugout after they had tied the game. You know, everybody's a little bit down. We had just blown a 4-0 lead. And I said, hey, boys, there's no reason to hang our heads. We got a 4-inning game for the national championship. This is where we got to get it done. And sure enough, we went out and got some really big at-bats in the top of the 6th inning there and scored the 5 runs, and our relief pitching was outstanding.
I want to talk about a moment that I will never forget in Alex Box Stadium. I was covering the team at the time, and it was in the Stony Brook Super Regional. For game 1, for those who remember, started in the morning. It kept raining. Aaron started and he was a freshman at that point, but did very well. Hold that lineup down. It was back and forth, and it rained so much you had to come back the next day to finish game 1.
Yeah.
And we all knew that Gaussman was going to start game 2 because he's your horse, and he hadn't started game 1. And he goes down there to start warming up before the game 1 continues. And I'm going, I guess he's just kind of getting loose, ready to go. And then all of a sudden he starts, like, getting after it. And then he throws the towel over his shoulder and starts walking back to the dugout. And I remember this as clear as day. The whole box realized, oh, he's coming in now. Like, we're going for it in game 1. And ends up working out perfectly. He gets him out. Katz gets the walk-off, and he's able to start game 2. What went into that decision to go to Kevin to close out game 1 when he was your horse?
Well, first of all, you know, I was much maligned because we ended up losing that series. Nobody had ever heard of Stony Brook. But Stony Brook had a hell of a team that year.
Travis Jankowski's been on TV for the last 6 years.
It was the perfect storm for them. They had all seniors, and they had 7 players drafted in the first 4 rounds.
Yeah. Willie Carmona.
You could argue that they had a better team than we had, okay? They had just won the regional at Miami. And the first day, as you mentioned, here's a young Aaron Nola pitching his heart out, and they were relentless against him. So we went to the 9th inning, losing by a run, and Jacoby Jones hit a home run to tie the game for us. So now we go to the 10th inning. They score in the top of the 10th, and in the bottom of the 10th, Tyler Moore hits a home run for us to tie the game. Yep. We go to the 11th inning. They take the lead again. In the bottom of the 11th, Mason Katz hits a home run for us. When have you ever seen 3 straight do-or-die innings to hit a home run to tie the game? and then it starts to rain. But before it rained, Rafe Rhymes hit one out, and it barely curved foul at the last second, or we would have walked him off right there. But now it starts raining. We got to pick it up the next day. I'm saying to myself, Hunt, there is no way we're losing this first game after the heroic effort by our players in the 9th, 10th, and 11th innings. So I said, we're going to go with Gosman, because they had gotten to Nick Goody, who was our relief pitcher, scored against him in the 10th and 11th innings. And I thought, we got to go with our best dude. And fortunately, he only took him like 8 pitches to get through the top of the 12th inning. We won it in the bottom of the 12th. And then the weather was so bad, the ESPN producer comes to me and he says, look, we're going to start the next game in a half an hour. So I figured, why not just turn Gosman around? It's like he was sitting through a long inning, with us batting. So he warmed up again, and he pitched a great game. But in the 3rd inning, he was pitching through a downpour, and he just couldn't grip the ball and throw anything but a fastball, and they scored 3 runs. We ended up losing 3-1.
I remember distinctly sitting in that press box saying he can't spin a breaking ball. And, he's got 95 in the tank, but if they know it's coming, that's just not going to go. Because he tried, and he couldn't. He just couldn't spin it. I remember distinctly thinking about that.
It made me so sad because he pitched his heart out for us, and he was so great. And he was a draft-eligible sophomore, so this was it. And so he ended up not going to Omaha. He'd only been there the 2 years. And we, he deserved to go. But the 3rd night when we played Stony Brook, they came out with another pitcher that was tremendous, and they hit our pitcher really hard, and we ended up losing. And everybody all summer is like, how do you lose to Stony Brook? And I would start speeches off by saying, at least I wasn't introduced tonight as the guy that they're going to write on his tombstone one day. Here lies the guy who lost to Stony Brook in the Super Regional.
Anybody who showed up for those 3 games knew how good that team was. You got 10 minutes for us? I still have more I want to get to. We really appreciate it. Paul Menari joining us here at Walk-Ons on Burbank. If you got time, come on by. We will be here until 6 o'clock hanging out, getting ready for first pitch tonight at 6:30 between LSU and Maine. We'll take a timeout, come back with more with Coach Menari. It's Hunt and Hill.
Holding down the middle of the day. This is Hunt and Hill. Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Hunt and Hill, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Here at Walk-Ons on Burbank, Hunt and Hill on a Friday, joined by former LSU coach Paul Menari for another segment here, walking down memory lane with Coach. We've gone through 2007 through 2012, and now we get to maybe my favorite game I've ever been to in any sport. The 2013 Super Regional when Oklahoma came to town. Your Tigers were such a dominant team that year, and you were 55-9 going into the Super, had maybe the best team in the country, and here came Oklahoma with what could have been the first overall pick in the draft in Jonathan Gray. I'll tell you, Coach.
He was third, I believe.
I know he was because I was furious the Cubs passed on him at 2. They took that Bryant guy. He ended up being all right. So, I was wrong on that, and I was wrong on this. As a guy, how old was I in 2013? I was 25. And clearly had all the answers. So I'm looking at this going, I'm so scared of Jonathan Gray. If we put Nola out there and they beat us 1-0, our team's going to be deflated. They got to sit Nola for game 2. See if we beat Gray, that's great. Have Nola coming back. You said, no, we're going with our horse, and it was one of the best baseball games I've ever seen.
It was a true pitcher's duel. Some games you look at it and say, well, the hitting stunk in that game. But when Jonathan Gray pitched against Aaron Nola in that first game of the Super Regional, what a pitcher's duel it was. Nola got in trouble in the 5th inning. He gave up
leadoff double.
Yeah, he gave up a leadoff double. The runner got to third base with 1 out. He got a big strikeout and got the next guy out, and we got out of the inning. And then we went to the 8th inning. We got a runner on base, and Jacoby Jones hit a triple in the right center field gap to make it 1-0. Tyler Moore came off the bench, pitch hit, roped a base hit to right center field, and Jacoby Jones scored. Nola got him out in the 9th inning. And it set the tone. And the next night we went out and beat Oklahoma, I think, 11-1, and went to Omaha. And I think we went to Omaha with like a 57-9 record.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and then of course, we thought we were going to win it all, and we lose 2-1 to UCLA out there, and then a close game to North Carolina. They were the number 1 overall seed, and all of a sudden a phenomenal season came to a screeching end. That was one of my bigger disappointments, that we didn't win the national championship that year.
Now let's see your thoughts on this. The 15 team, which was Bregman, Laird, Stevenson, Hale, Savick, Fraley, McMullen, Shanae Ibarra, I would contend that was the best lineup you ever had. You will probably disagree with that. You have a national championship lineup. 13 team was excellent. That one, I just felt like eventually the dam was going to break and they were going to hang a 4 spot. Team I loved watching hit.
That was a phenomenal team. We didn't have a weakness in our lineup. Great. Not only did they play, were they a great offensive team, they played unbelievable defense. When you had Laird and Stevenson in the outfield, and Fraley, we had 3 center fielders, three really great runners in the outfield. Nothing could drop. You had Bregman at shortstop, Ibarra at third, the best second baseman, best third baseman I've ever had. You had, just the whole team was really outstanding. And I remember I had to make a big decision going into Omaha because we played TCU in game 1, and of course we had Alex Lang and Jared Poche. And it wasn't that I was looking ahead to game 2. Vanderbilt wins their game. We're going to play Vanderbilt in game 2, and they struck out a lot. And Lang was a strikeout pitcher, of course. And I knew that Poche would have to win one of the first 2 games for us to stay in the winner's bracket. And TCU had seven left-handed hitters in their lineup. Their leadoff hitter was a switch hitter. He's the Big 12 Player of the Year, but his splits were he was 380 left-handed and maybe 180 right-handed. So I decided to go with Poche in game 1. Of course, everybody criticized that decision. Poche went out and struck out the side in the first, and three innings later, he was 9 up, 9 down.
Yep.
And then the top of the 4th inning, the first batter hits a comebacker to him, and he sails it over the first baseman's head. The second batter hits a comebacker to him. He throws it high and takes Cheney off the base. And before you know it, he gives up a couple of runs, and the team just started playing really tight after that, and we lost. Lang, of course, pitched a great game against Fullerton in game 2, and we just couldn't climb out of the loser's bracket.
That was a heck of a team to watch, but 16 was a hell of a ride.
Yeah, what do you remember about the old rally posse?
Oh, I was with Kramer the other day, and we were talking about that. People forget that's the game that he got hit in the mouth by a throw. Yeah, the outfielder, I think it was Fraley, was throwing a ball in on a double, and he lost it in the light, and it hit him right smack in the mouth, and he had a lip about the size of a grapefruit, and he's bleeding all over the place. But we were losing 9-1 to Arkansas that game, and we came back to win the game. And, of course, it was forever known as the Rally Possum game, because when the little possum came on, it was growling at all the Arkansas players. The very next batter grounded to short, and they had a really good shortstop named Bernal, very sure-handed, accurate arm, and he threw one into the stands. And next thing you know, our fans are really getting into the game. We tied the game in the 9th inning and won in the 10th inning.
I want to go to 17 now. We're going to get to Omaha, which was just unbelievable. But the game 1 against Mississippi State in the Super, Pilkington is just dealing. And finally the lineup gets to him, and Dykeman hits that big home run. But that's your fear when you get to a Super and the other team's ace just gets it cooking. And he was tough that day.
Hun, I can't believe you made a mistake. It wasn't a home run. It was a 2-run double. He hit it in the left field corner with
wait, when did he hit the home run in game 2? Or was that a different Super altogether when he hit his homer to center?
Oh, that was against Rice in the regional.
Oh, yeah, that was in the regional.
Year before,
there
in
you go.
16.
Okay. There you go. See, there you go.
That was right after Kramer Robertson had executed one of the best hit and runs ever. The ball was coming at his chin. We were talking about this the other day. We were losing this game 2-0. And Kramer's up. It was like the 7th inning, and runner at first base. But we were so stagnant offensively, and I said, I got to take a chance. We got to get a runner in motion, let Kramer handle the bat, see if we can find a hole. So I put on a hit and run. Well, the pitcher throws a pitch like at Kramer's chin, and he kind of tomahawks at the ball, and hits the ball through the hole, perfectly executed. Now we got 2 runners on base, and then Dykeman drills the home run over the center fielder's head to put us on top 3-2. Papierski added a home run, and we ended up winning that championship game against Rice in the regional. Yeah. But that was 2016.
That was Poche in the final year.
In 17, we had gone to Mississippi State the last weekend of the season, and whoever wins this series wins the SEC West. Well, we win the first 2 games, which clinched the West for us, and then we ended up winning game 3, which won the overall SEC title. And I don't think an LSU team had ever swept a series in Starkville. Me as a coach at my time at LSU, we never lost a series at Mississippi State in my whole time here. So we won all 3 games. Well, lo and behold, Mississippi State goes and wins the Southern Miss Regional, and we've got to now beat them to go to Omaha after dominating them in Starkville. So the first game, like you mentioned, Pilkington is pitching great. We go to the 8th inning, and Kramer leads off with a walk. Cole Freeman lines one out at the center fielder. Duplantis hits a typical Duplantis line drive over the shortstop's head for a base hit. And then Dykeman took a pitch down and away and drilled it in the left field corner. Both runs scored. We're still down a run. Then Zach Watson drills one to left field. Dykeman scores from second base to tie the game. The place is going nuts. And first pitch, I put on a hit and run, and Bo Jordan executes it to perfection, hits it through the hole at second base. Watson ends up on third. Papierski hits a sacrifice fly. Zach Hess closes it out in the 9th inning, and we win game 1 and then blew them out the next night to go to Omaha.
Exactly right. And then we go to Omaha. and you get roughed up pretty good. Obviously, you lose Walker, and Oregon State hammers
beat
you.
Florida State in the first
right,
game, and then lost to Oregon State.
And lose Oregon State, and then you got a team that's 56-4, and you got to come back and beat them twice.
Yeah.
What did you think going into that? 56-4 is impossible.
Well, they clearly had the best team in the country, and the next year in 18 they won the national championship. But they were on a 25-game winning streak. They had a tremendous lineup, but Alex Lang rose to the occasion and just pitched a phenomenal game. And then we brought in Zach Hess late in the game in the 8th inning with 1 out. And he got the last 5 outs. I think he struck out everybody he faced.
Let me stop you there and tell you about Hess. Let me tell you how good Zach Hess was in that College World Series. My dad is the most pessimistic sports fan I've ever been around. He routinely, after like 4 minutes of game action, says this game is over. We have no chance. We have no chance to win. When Hess would come into a game at the end of that season and say, "Well, let's not even watch this. We got it. It's over."
Yeah.
He turned my dad into a positive sports fan. He was that good at the end of those games.
He looked like a major league ready closer, and he was phenomenal out there. So we won that first game, but we still got to beat them another time. And I remember their coach playing games with us on naming their starting pitcher. We were prepared for this hard thrower Rasmussen, who's in the big leagues, but they decided to come back with the kid that had beat us earlier in the week. There was a curveball guy, and we didn't find out until a half hour before the game.
Yeah,
well, it really ticked off our players, and they were all saying, "Hey, there is no way we're letting these guys beat us, pulling this crap on us, right?" Well, we went out and hit 4 home runs. Gilbert pitched great. Papierski hit 2 of the home runs, and we ended up winning. I think we only gave up 2 runs in the 2 games, maybe 4 hits total against the power.
5 hits total.
team.
I looked it up yesterday, and that's that was Gilbert just had it cooking that day. Papierski just turned into a different human up there in Omaha. That was something to watch after he had his struggles early in the year offensively, and he found it 2 years in a row in the postseason for you, like great players do.
Yeah, well, he was something. He had a home run from both sides of the plate in that last game against Oregon State.
Exactly right. Let's go to the final season. You lose game 1 of the regional last year.
Yeah.
What were those last 3 days like in Eugene? I mean, it was improbable at the very least.
So, I knew we were facing a really tough pitcher from Gonzaga, and he turned out to be everything that we thought he was. We prepared for him, but he just was better than us. So we had our backs against the wall. What I remember was getting dressed that morning in my hotel room, Hunt, and my wife saying to me, "Hey, you better come up with your best pregame talk you've ever come up with, because if you're not, your career is over." So I talked to the guys and got them fired up for Central Connecticut State. Who knows Central Connecticut State? But I watched them the day before against Oregon, and they had a really good hitting team. We win an extra inning game, and then we come back and beat Gonzaga in our second game, and then we had to beat Oregon twice, and we did it. And, I was hoping we could have won the Super Regional, but it wasn't meant to be. But winning that regional last year was a very special moment.
For sure.
When you first took the job here and to where things have gone now, what's something along the way that you thought would never be possible, or something like, man, when I took this, I never thought this was something that could happen?
Wow. I don't know, Jeremy. I don't think there's an answer to that, because this job was everything I expected it would be. I knew there was always going to be a lot of pressure, a lot of high expectations. But I also felt there was magic in the name, and I thought we could go out and recruit really good players. My very first recruiting class here, with Terry Rooney as our recruiting coordinator, we had the #1 ranked recruiting class. We brought in guys like Leon Landry, Anthony Renato, DJ LeMayu, Micah Gibbs, and those guys combined with the foundation of my first team with Jared Mitchell and Blake Dean and Sean Ochinko and Ryan Schimpf. Jared Bradford was in that first class as well, and then you had guys like Mike Hollander that were coming back. I don't know. I just felt like you could do it here, and I left a place that I was very fond of, the University of Notre Dame. I was there for 12 years. I actually turned down a half a dozen other job offers, including 4 in the SEC. People didn't really know about, but LSU was that one school for which I would leave Notre Dame. And the first year was a little bit rough, and the first 2/3 of the second year were a little bit rough. But once we got it going, there was no other place to be. I mean, it's the most special place in the world to coach college baseball, and really just to be around the athletics program. I used to love to watch you run the football. That year with Mettenberger and who were the 2 wide receivers we had on that team?
Yeah.
They weren't bad. I just love everything about LSU. I love the whole athletic program. I love the university. And, I gave it my all for 15 years. I just kind of ran out of gas at the end, and I was man enough to know that my time had come, and it was time to hand it over to somebody a little bit younger with a little bit more energy. And I wish I could have fulfilled the last 3 years of my contract, but I just didn't want to be one of those guys that hung around until people couldn't wait to get rid of, and I thought, well, it's better for the program's sake and for my own personal health that step aside. But it was a wonderful run. I loved every second of it.
Well, this team's coming off a super regional appearance, and they're top 10 team in the country for a reason, and you're a huge part of that. I got to think, obviously, you won't be in the dugout this year, but a lot of these guys are your guys. And what do you think about the potential of this team? And I want to speak specifically about Blake Money, who gets the ball tonight.
Well, I love Blake Money, and we recruited him, and we gave him some chances last year, but he needed to get himself in better shape. He needed to develop his secondary pitches. I've met with Jay Johnson earlier this week for about an hour, and he told me before he released it that Blake was going to start game one, and I was really happy to hear that. It's been well chronicled how he's kind of changed his physical conditioning, and he's come up with the other pitches. I've texted him this week. He texted me back, very, very nice text message. So I'm hoping that Blake can go out there tonight and really show a lot of poise and composure and pitch well. Their pitching is going to be much underrated, I'm going to tell you. We had some good freshman pitchers last year. Javen Coleman, Garrett Williams, Garrett Edwards. I'm sorry, I had another player named Garrett Edwards. Michael Fowler, I think, has some real promise, and they got McHale back and Devin Fontenot back and some other guys. Trent Vittmeyer's a veteran. So I think their pitching is going to be much better than maybe people give credit for. And, of course, the lineup, we recruited a couple of pretty good players in that class. Yeah. Trey Morgan and Dylan Cruz that I think, are as good as anybody in the country.
They'll do just fine, Coach. We really, really appreciate some time, but more so, thanks so much for a decade and a half of awesome, awesome memories that we were able to go through there. Hit them straight out there, huh?
Okay, thanks a lot, Hunt.
That's former LSU baseball coach Paul Menari. We'll come back and close out hour number one. Leah Van with us at the top of hour number two. We are at Walk-Ons on Burbank. It's Hunt and Hill.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge with Hunt and Hill.
Always proud to tell you about Bayou Ford. You can find them at BayouFord.com. Over 50% of the people who buy automobiles from Bayou Ford never set foot on the lot. That can be you. You can make the short drive to LaPlace, or you can visit them at BayouFord.com. 75% of the cars they sell are special ordered. Make that commitment today to go to BayouFord.com and pick out the car that you want. And, Jeremy, they'll bring it right to you, won't they?
Yeah, you don't have to worry about going to the dealership. Bayou Ford has 6 full-time drivers. Their only job is to deliver your custom vehicle right to you. Go to BayouFord.com. They're going to do right by you.
We opened up the playbook and expanded our coverage. Listen daily in high definition on 98.1 HD2. We are 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Follow us on Twitter at 1045 ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, Hunt and Hill, the early line. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the poll of the day via Twitter at 1045 ESPN.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary. For those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
You know Miller Lite only has 1 more calorie, right?
More taste. Good choice.
Before we begin any electrical work here, we perform a home safety check that begins at your electrical panel to make sure that you and your family are safe. For all your upgrades, installations, and repairs, call Mr. Electric.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, We've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All Star Toyota today.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
If home is where the heart is, a roof is a shield. That's why for over 25 years, South Louisiana always turns to Garcia Roofing and Sheet Metal. For more information, visit garciadidmyroof.com.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
I hope you guys out there listening enjoyed that as much as I did. Paul Menari joined us for 30 minutes going down all the great memories of his time from 2007 to 2021. An unbelievable run here in Baton Rouge. Some highs and some lows. The highs far exceeded the lows, and we certainly appreciate Coach for coming on by and chatting with us there. And we were talking off air. Every coach is a little bit different, and Paul's one of those guys that can remember every instance of every game and what the decision was like and what the temperature was like and who was on the other team and why they made those decisions. Some coaches are like that. Some coaches are not. You played for one that can remember stuff from the 50s, you said.
Yeah. Coach Belichick was definitely that way. He'll be pulling out wing tee footage from the 60s and 70s and talking about defensive lineups and everything that way. But in sports, sometimes history repeats itself. So you can remember yourselves in certain situations, especially in baseball, where, hey, we put our ace out on this day, put our ace out in this situation. Didn't work out so well. Maybe next time you can make adjustments to that. So having that memory definitely helps.
I'll tell you one of the guys that I asked a question to one time when I was working in the print media, that his recall was unbelievable. Now he hasn't won quite as much as Paul Menari or Bill Belichick, but yeah. Will Muschamp was the head coach at Florida, and this was in 2013 when I was covering. And I asked him a question on the SEC teleconference. I said, what made the 2003 LSU defense a championship defense? And he went through every player on the starting lineup, plus why they moved guys different ways. We had Jesse Daniels, and we had pulled his red shirt, and we moved him back there and put Jack Hunt at safety. And then we had Marcus Spears and Marquise Hill on the edges, and Lavallee was breaking everything up. And we had great linebacker play, and Webster and Travis Daniels. And it was just like, I wouldn't know it, but he's coached hundreds of dudes since then. It's been 10 years, and they can just recall. And some coaches can't tell you what happened in that game. It's just that doesn't make you, I don't think, a better coach or a worse coach, but some guys just have that instant recall. Now, I can't tell you, what I had for lunch 3 days ago, but I can go through those LSU baseball super regional stats and spit them out like crazy because it's where your passion lies.
Yeah, I definitely think it's where your passion lies. And I think for a lot of those defensive coordinators, they're very stingy. When an offensive guy gets them with something, they remember that particular play. They remember what they were in. They remember they were calling. The super high competitive guys, that's just the way they are, especially those defensive coordinators. They have those bank memories. So they have Muschamp, probably one of the better defensive coordinators. I don't know about head coach, but he can definitely call that defense up.
That's just stupid aside as we have 2 minutes to go here. Where do you think Will Muschamp's career leads him? You think he'll ever be a head coach again? It's a coordinator?
Yeah, I think he'll head coach again. I think it's going to take him a longer track than it took. Because once you get those SEC jobs, the fall from grace is normally pretty steep. It's normally pretty tough to recover from that. So I see him maybe going get some rehab somewhere. Maybe Saban will take him on. Maybe someone else will take him on and do some DC for a couple years and possibly. I think he'll definitely probably be a head coach one more time.
We are hanging out at Walk-Ons here on Burbank. There is a ton of purple and gold here. There is a buzz in this building. There's a buzz on campus. It is a huge weekend here at LSU. Of course, the Jay Johnson era kicks off tonight at 6:30 against Maine. You've got a massive gym meet tonight against Alabama. We've got tickets, if you want them, to Sunday's LSU women's basketball game. I believe that's against Florida. If that's something you want to check out, come on to Walk-Ons. Come catch us by the stage. I will get you a couple of tickets to LSU in Florida. We have got a lot of them, and we'd love it if that place was packed on Sunday. So a huge weekend coming up here on campus, and we are getting you ready for it right here on Hunt and Hill. That's going to do it for hour number one. If you missed it, we spent 30 minutes with LSU former head baseball coach Paul Menari walking down memory lane. I thought it was a blast. We went through stories from 2007 when they weren't very good, to national championships, Rally Possum, Super Regional, Omaha, injury, all kind of stuff we talked about with Paul Menari. You can catch that on demand, 1045ESPN.com. as well as on YouTube, where the Bayou Ford chat is ablaze right now, getting ready for LSU baseball. We've got a loaded hour number 2 coming to you as well. Leah Van from The Advocate is going to jump aboard here in 5 minutes to preview this coming season. We've done a lot of looking back. We'll start looking forward to this team with Leah Van, who covers them for The Advocate. And if we get lucky, Jack Besh from the LSU football team may be gracing us with his presence here coming up in hour number 2 as well. We're hoping to get Jack to come on. So if you're looking for something to do, knocking off work, or need a lunch break, come on to Walk-Ons on Burbank. We are having a ton of fun here, and we'll be broadcasting until 2 o'clock. Musso and Mario Early Line are going to be broadcasting from here from 2 to 3, and Matt Moscona AFR from 3 to 6, leading you right up to first pitch at 6:30 at Alec Box Stadium. So don't go anywhere, or come on out here. We're at Walk-Ons on Burbank. Coming back with hour number 2, Leah Van will kick it off. It's Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN.
Bayou Ford has 0.9% for 60 months on new Ford F-150 plus $1,000 bonus cash. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. And right now, get $1,000 bonus cash plus 0.9% APR for 60 months on new 2021 Ford F-150. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
To the heroes who are working tirelessly to care for our communities, we thank you. We will never forget the countless hours you dedicated on the front lines, choosing to risk your own health to fight for our friends, neighbors, and family members.
I mean, you guys are out on the front lines fighting it.
We are grateful for your heroic acts and unwavering spirit. Together, we are overcoming this adversity and make our state healthier and more vibrant again. Ochsner Health.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Hunt and Hill. Hunt Palmer, Jeremy Hill, holding down the middle of the day. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio, it's Hunt and Hill. Now on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hour number 2, we are out in the open field here, Hunt and Hill. It's a Friday. It is a game day for LSU baseball, Tigers in Maine at 6:30. Looking for something to do before that one. Come on out to Walk-Ons on Burbank. 104.5 ESPN will be broadcasting live until 6 o'clock. Early lines coming up after us. Matt Moscona's AFR after that. And when we will head over to the box and watch the Jay Johnson era get kicked started. There for every minute of that is going to be Leah Vann from The Advocate. She joins us now. Leah, happy game day. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
We're doing good. You ready for 56 of these things starting tonight?
I guess I have no choice but to be ready. You know, it's my job.
At least they'll pay you for it.
Yeah.
No, it's. I think everybody here is very, very excited to finally get things started. We've done. I know how the preseason goes. It's feature, scrimmage, and now they finally get to play somebody, and there's a little bit more color to the conversation. But what's been your impression, kind of overall, in terms of the vibe of the team, the vibe of Coach Johnson, as you kind of locked in here over the last 3 weeks?
Yeah, it seems like everybody's really excited, really eager to get started. Like you said, with the scrimmages, I think Jay spoke to us on Wednesday, and he said, you know, at this point, we've done all the scrimmaging. We have to play someone else to know anything about this team. So, you know, I'm excited to see what there is to hold.
I think that's Blake Money over there, sitting there, right there in the purple. Is that not him? Is he not here? I think that
I don't know. Is that him?
He went. I saw him walk out a second ago. There aren't that many 6'7" guys walking around. I think that's very possible it is. Maybe it's just a look-alike, and Blake's getting ready to go. But he's getting the ball tonight either way. You've had a chance to talk with him, talk with his teammates about what he's been like in the fall, and it's quite an honor for him to get the opening day start. What have you made of talking to people and him about how ready he is for this?
Yeah, you know, it was interesting because I was at a fall scrimmage, and he walked right up to me after one of the scrimmages, and he was like, yeah, I want to be interviewed. I was like, sure, okay. Yeah, I don't even know. And he told me, yeah, I didn't even travel with the team last year. I was like, cool, this is a feature I'm, never going to write because this kid's not going to play. And then all of a sudden I see him playing a lot in the scrimmage. I'm like, you know, this kid's pretty good. I don't know how he got sent home. And then all of a sudden he's the star of the show. He's a Friday night pitcher, you know. And so, yeah, I think, you know, from what I've seen, you know, he's putting the balls on the money, dare I say.
See, there's a wordsmith right there.
We got to get there. I'm a writer, y'all. Yeah, no, but, I mean, he's throwing strikes, and a lot of the players have said that they've seen tremendous improvement from him. He's got a fastball changeup combo that's pretty much his specialty, and so, yeah, I think he's going to have a lot to say.
Jay's been a little bit guarded with answers, as you would expect. You don't want to throw all your cards out there. But from what you've been able to pick up, my contention yesterday was that, yeah, Blake Money is getting the ball to start the game, and he's going to try to go 4 innings or whatever it is. But everybody's audition, no matter where it is over the course of these 27 innings, is just as important. He's just the guy who gets it first. Do you think this is, hey, this is our guy, let's go? Or we're looking at everybody, he's just kind of earned the first guy out?
I think he's just kind of earned the first guy out for this weekend, and we'll see how it plays out. I think we could see this change up a little bit, but yeah, I think he's trying. I think Jay knows a lot more about this team than he's letting on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think for now, I wouldn't bet money to say well, that he's going to be like the Friday starter every single week, I would like just kind of take it and see how it goes.
From being around this team at scrimmages, talking to different players, what do you think the general consensus around the team is as far as their confidence heading into the season? Do you think they're an Omaha team? Do you think they're just trying to challenge for the SEC? Do they have that banter that they feel like they can really do something special this season?
You know, I think they all think that they can do something special, and I think it's preseason, and everybody's like, yeah, we're going to Omaha. You know what I mean? But, like, why not have that dream when you have somebody like Dylan Cruz and you've got Jacob Berry and you've got Trey Morgan up in the lineup? I mean, this offense, if anything, is going to be menacing. I mean, Wilson and I were talking about this when we were writing the SEC write-up. He's like, you could make an argument that the 3 top hitters in the SEC right now could be those 3. He's like, I'm trying to put together the top batters, and I'm having trouble finding guys outside of LSU. And so I think that, the hype is real. I would totally, if I were this team, I would buy into it. And, Jay Johnson took Arizona to the College World Series in his first year. And he's pretty much turned a lot of other teams around. And imagine having a team that made the Super Regional last year and then having all the same guys back. I mean, I think that the tools are there, and I think all the players have been really excited about this season.
You wrote a feature on Jordan Thompson this week. What was kind of something that stood out to you talking with him, talking about him for that piece that you wrote?
That was a short piece, but first off, he's a really fun interview. He was wearing Dylan Cruz's earrings, which was kind of funny. But he seemed pretty confident in his abilities. He's like, yeah, I'm feeling 100% because obviously he had this lower leg injury going on. Turned out to be kind of just a knee cleanup situation. But he said, the only thing that he's had to get over is kind of running around and having that confidence to be able to be like, I'm not going to get hurt if I go for this ground ball. You know what I mean? But it seems like he's had that confidence. I've seen him in the past couple of scrimmage playing defense. I've seen him at the bat. So I think, and he's done really well at bat. I don't know if y'all been there, but he's been pretty consistent at getting on base. So I think he's up to 100%, and he's excited about this season for sure.
I think the argument can be made that you really don't have to wonder about Cruz and Berry and Morgan. And I would even put Cade Doty in that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
He was really good last year, but he hadn't quite earned that status. I think he is this year. It really, how far this team goes or how good this lineup is, may depend on how good is Jordan Thompson, how good is Brody Drost or Braden Joubert or Tyler McManus. I mean, some of the guys at the bottom of the order, that may be how good is this team. Is there somebody outside of those headliners that you would look at and say, that may be somebody that we need to look at?
I think it was the Friday night scrimmage, DiGiacomo, which I just learned how to pronounce his last name.
Giovanni.
Yes, Giovanni. He did really well. I think he went 2 for 2 on his first at-bats, and obviously he's a good outfield piece, so I think he could be a good contender. I think Tyler McManus, I've heard a lot about him being a big-time hitter. He's had some good moments in these scrimmages too. So obviously you have Gavin Dugas. I mean, you can't forget about him, number 8. So I think the bottom of the lineup, I mean, Jay has said he has a lot of depth and he's going to be able to move some different pieces. Will Stafford has really stepped up. I remember he was doing a lot of base running. He's very fast. I could see him being that guy who steals bases. And he played a little bit of second base at one of the scrimmages that I was at. And then they put Cade over at third. So I think he could be a versatile piece. He's also a left-handed batter. We know that Jay Johnson loves left-handed batters. So, I think that there's going to be some depth on this team, and I can't wait to find out those stories and find out who they are.
It's fascinating. There's so many of us. Now, you're not quite in this camp, which is a really good thing for you. We're stuck in Paul Menari's ways, and I don't mean stuck as a negative, but we know. I could tell you in the first weekend that there were going to be 4 extra guys that weren't in the opening day lineup that were going to play Saturday and Sunday, and if one of them hit a triple on Sunday, they were playing on Tuesday. I knew what his patterns were. We all, as a collective LSU fan base, kind of get to learn what makes Jay tick. We don't quite know that yet. I would imagine for you, as we were just talking about, he's been a little bit guarded, that you're looking forward to kind of seeing the way that he operates during a 56-game run.
Yeah, and he has this mentality about flushing it out. When you have a bad at-bat, when you have a good at-bat, okay, forget it, you got to move on to the next one. So I'll be interested to see how that mentality carries on to his players and his lineup and his combinations, and I think it could vary depending on the matchup and I think it's going to be very interesting. I think he's kind of a Moneyball mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right, I got a question for you here. To me, there's 3 really intriguing storylines. I want you to pick which one you think will be the most intriguing going into the season.
Yeah.
I think for one, the questions about this pitching staff as you go into the season. I think for 2, for me, Jay Johnson, how is he going to handle this new team being in the SEC? And 3 is, can these, especially the top of the order, can they really carry out that high batting power that we know they can potentially have going into this season? Which one would you say is the most intriguing for you?
Yeah, I think the pitching has still been the most intriguing storyline so far, and I think there's a lot of room for a guy like a Blake Money or Mikhail Hilliard or all these other guys to kind of step up and become the star, and we don't know who that is yet. That's been the biggest question mark, and from my understanding, that's the biggest question mark across the SEC. There's not a lot of huge star pitchers that we know about, but there are some star pitchers that are gonna come through. So I'm really intrigued to see that. I think the whole Jay going to the SEC, okay, sure, you can make that argument. He's been to the College World Series before, and I think if he's coaching in the Pac-12, the SEC, he has the same expectation for himself, and they're going to all tell you that. It's a coach's cliche, we don't care where we are or what we play. I think the biggest shock for him is how much media attention he's probably getting, but he's embracing it so far. I think the batting lineup, are they going to live up to the hype? But I really think the pitching staff is the most intriguing, especially when you've got 5 new transfers coming in, all these new faces. I'm interested to see who really steps up, and I think we're going to be surprised.
I do as well. All right, let's talk about you. When you're covering games, are you keeping score up there? Are you just relying on the internet? What's your in-game mode as you're covering baseball?
Yeah, so, when I first started covering baseball, it was the high school baseball level, so you had to keep your own score. Sure. So I'm in that habit. It helps me follow the game more. I don't have the best scorekeeping skills, to be quite honest. It's kind of sloppy.
As long as you can read it.
As long as I can read it, it's okay. My cousin taught me, and she was a ball girl for the Texas Rangers. So I felt like that gave me a whole new picture of baseball. And but yeah, when you have to cover baseball at its purest form, you are trained to do so in that way, and I don't plan on changing. And then I try to, obviously try to take note of the big plays and write them down, tweet them out. Sometimes Twitter takes a little bit of the back seat when you're trying to do all these things at once. And so, but yeah, I think I'm excited to actually have, the stats live next to me too. So that way
it's a luxury.
I don't get anything wrong. No parents are going to give me some phone calls. Nobody's going to be like, oh, my kid did not strike out. And it's well, tough, Sally.
Somebody's jersey got a stain on it, so we switched jerseys in a high school game. We don't know who that is. I've been there. I've done some high school play-by-play. I know how that goes. Well, look, it's long hours at the box, but it's a lot of fun if you embrace it. We're thrilled to have you, and enjoy the ball game tonight. We'll be having you on throughout the season.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me.
She is Leah Vann from The Advocate. Still out here at Walk-Ons on Burbank, and talk a little college hoops. LSU in South Carolina tomorrow. We'll break that thing down. Hopefully Jack Besh to join us a little bit later. We're with you until 2 o'clock. Musso and Mario's early line from 2 to 3. Right here from Walk-Ons, and Matt Moscona's AFR will follow right here just off campus as we get ready for LSU in Maine tonight at the box. Don't go anywhere. Coming back with more Hunt and Hill.
Serving up the latest from the sports world. It's Hunt and Hill.
College basketball is here, and FanDuel Sportsbook has an offer you don't want to miss. Right now, new customers can place their first college basketball bet risk-free, and if you don't win, you'll get it back up to $1,000 cash back.
Right now, if you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, it's the perfect time to give it a shot. The app's so easy. They're hooking you up with great odds, boosts, super boosts. And when you download the app, they're all right there. It's easy to get to. All you got to do is push the button, hit place the bet. Shows you how much you would win if it cashes, and you can place that bet. And when you win, they'll pay you in as little as 2 hours. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app today. Sign up with the promo code 1045ESPN to get your first bet risk-free up to $1,000. That's promo code 1045ESPN. You must be 21 and present in Louisiana. First online real money wager only. Refund issues and non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 7 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-770-STOP.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
During these challenging times, we know your healthcare needs don't stop. Cancer, accidents, injuries, and heart disease are relentless. So we are relentlessly innovating to keep you safe, both virtually and in person, connecting you with providers remotely, advancing clinical spaces, providing rapid and accurate testing, social distancing, and certified cleaning protocols. We are Auctioner, and we will not slow down. Auctioner Health, innovating healthcare.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Thanks so much to Leah Vann for jumping aboard. Her long journey begins tonight. I'm not sure she knows exactly what she's in for. It is about 12 hours to 15 hours at minimum a week at the ballpark. I loved every second of it because I'm a nut. But you got rain delays, you got road trips, you got 17 pitcher midweek games that go until 11 o'clock at night. It is a lot of a college baseball season to go through 56 games. But if you embrace it and you love it, it is a ball, but we appreciate her coming on. Let's shift gears a little bit and talk some basketball. LSU is headed to Columbia, South Carolina tomorrow to face Frank Martin's Gamecocks. Jeremy, we talked about this yesterday. Yeah. I just think it's a nice step up in schedule. You go from a situation where you played Texas A&M on the road, you played great. They're not very good. You came home, you played a decent Mississippi State team at home, but you took care of business on your home floor. Then you whitewash a bad Georgia team. And right now, where they are, I think it's a nice little step up in competition. You're not going to Rupp. You're not going to play Arkansas on the road, but you've got a nice little step up to take care of business here, against the South Carolina team that's pretty good, but not great.
Yeah, no, not great at all. It's just definitely a team you feel like if you play your brand of basketball, you do everything that you've done all season to get yourself to this point. You feel like you have a great opportunity to go on the road and win this basketball game. We talked about it time and time again, this stretch one, kind of after you went through that losing stretch, that you got to get some teams that you should be able to beat, especially if you don't turn it over and you possibly make some outside shots. And I think Coach Wade really getting that rotation out. I know Efton, we expected big things from him as a freshman, but you're starting to cut his minutes down. You're starting to see Fudge, and you're starting to see Sharif get some more minutes. I like that more, especially if you're going to be playing that full-court press brand of basketball. I think I like what Coach Wade's done with this basketball team to this point.
Here's who South Carolina is, and this is pretty simple and straightforward. They're 6-7 in the league. Their wins this year in Southeastern Conference play: Vanderbilt, Georgia, Vanderbilt, Georgia, A&M, and Ole Miss. That's the bottom of the league. Vanderbilt's decent, but the rest of the teams are the bottom of the league. Here's the games they've lost: in conference play. Auburn, Tennessee, Florida, Arkansas, Mississippi State, Tennessee, and Kentucky. That's the top of the league. They're losing the games to the good teams. They're winning the games against the bad teams, and that's who they are. LSU strives to be a little bit better than that. I'm not telling you they're Auburn right now. I'm not telling you they're Kentucky. Hell, they may not be Arkansas, but they ought to be better than South Carolina. So it's a game you ought to go over there and win, but you're going to have to play well to win the game. Here's a stat I found really interesting. We know that Frank Martin came over from Kansas State and took South Carolina to the Final Four. This is his 10th year in Columbia, which I was shocked by a little bit. He's only been to the NCAA tournament one time. They went to the Final Four, but that's the only tournament team he has fielded. They've just kind of been an average team, and I can't beat this drum any harder. They're just playing an average team tomorrow. If they want to be what they want to be, they gotta win the game.
Yeah, they're definitely they're definitely an average team. I think for LSU, the level of competition they played this season, when you play Kentucky, when you play this Tennessee team that's ascending, when you play this Arkansas team that's ascending as well, this is a huge step down in competition. South Carolina isn't going to be challenging anyone for the SEC, and so you feel like you can go into their house, and I know it's going to be on the road, but you feel like you go just play LSU branded basketball. This is a definitely winnable game for you. I'm not saying they're going to cruise by 15, 16 points, but you should be able to definitely win this game on the road.
Here are the stats that jump out to me. I think of a Frank Martin team at South Carolina of being physical, slow, deliberate, good on defense. And there's some of those things. They are pretty physical. They are decent on defense, but they're not slow. They are 40th in the country in possessions per game. So they play pretty quick, and so does LSU. Now here's the stat that's jumping. They are 317th in the country, so one of the worst in the country, not at turnovers per game, at turnovers per possession. And they're playing a lot of possessions. They turn the ball over a lot. For reference here, they're 317 in the country in turnovers per game, per possession. LSU's 318. So they're the same. We know how much LSU turns it over. So the question is, who can do it to who? Who can turn the other team over the most? LSU defensively has got to crank it up against a team that turns it over a lot and plays fast. They got to get out in transition and create easy baskets, because when South Carolina gets into the half court, their defense is pretty good. Their efficiency is in the top 80 in the country. They turn it over. LSU's got to turn them over, and I think one of the best things that LSU's got going for it now with Pinson back is that Gaines' minutes are cut a little bit, and when he's out there, he can just be a dog.
Yeah, Gaines knows his role, and I think that's the thing that was worrying this team when you saw Xavier Pinson go out of this lineup. Now you saw Tari Eason have to be thrust into the starting lineup. Now you saw Gaines having to run the show at point guard and play a lot more minutes at that true point guard position that he probably was ready for going into the season. Now everyone's going back to their older roles. You see this lineup when Tari Eason is able to come off the bench and bring that scoring presence off the bench. It just makes everyone's jobs a lot easier, and I think for me, we saw this Georgia basketball team that they just played who turns it over a lot. LSU made them turn it over.
Yeah.
So you're going into that same boat with this South Carolina basketball team, a team that you should easily be able to make turnover. And I think the biggest thing for me is watching this team, with Xavier Pinson being healthy, that full court press is different. It's looking like it did at the beginning of the season when you can put that full court pressure, force team in the corner, force teams in bad situations, and continue to get the ball into some easy transition opportunities. So that's what I'm going to be looking forward to in this South Carolina game.
Here's another thing for me, LSU defensively. South Carolina's got two guards that concern me. Eric Stevenson and James Reese. Both of them are transfers. Listen to where Stevenson's transferred to. He started his career at Wichita State, right in the heartland. He went to Washington out of the Pacific Northwest. Now he's at South Carolina. So he's seen it all in college basketball. He's their two guard. James Reese, the fifth, started at Buffalo for Nate Oates. Then he went to JUCO and then to North Texas, now at South Carolina. So his fourth stop in college. But those two guys, they're not great three-point shooters. They shoot about 33% from three, which is not great. But they shoot a lot of them. And LSU is so anxious to help off the dribble so often that they create some easy looks from three. Now, Florida couldn't throw it in the ocean against them, and it worked out. I just don't want to let these two guys get a couple of good looks at the rim early and make one, and then all of a sudden they've made four of them, like we saw at TCU, and you're giving up a run. Just don't help so fast off these guards that want to shoot a lot of threes.
Yeah, we saw that in the Vanderbilt game. It wasn't Scottie Pippen Jr. He was getting those assist offs, but you were helping so much off of some of those perimeter shooters. Once some of these guys in college basketball, they get some rhythm. They knock a few down. They see a few fall down for them. It's like, shooting the ball into the ocean, man. They get super hyper confident, and they feel like everything they shoot's going to miss. That's the last thing you want to do, especially when you're on the road and this team is playing at home. It's LSU coming to town. The program is different. People expect, this LSU basketball team to go out there and win. in. So they're going to be playing well, especially if they can start out well. So I'm going to go back to what I said last week. When this team starts fast in the first half, it's a totally different ball game when they're not trying to play perfectly down the stretch. And you're going to turn it over a bit, but I think if they can start fast again, it's definitely get them a lot better chance to win this game.
All right, brief look at the SEC schedule, because now we've gotten to the point where LSU now has rooting interest in these games because we're close enough to seeding time that we need to look at it. We'll have Jack Besh and I believe Josh Williams as well in the next segment. But Alabama, Kentucky, that's in Rupp. LSU needs Kentucky to win that game. Alabama is 7-6 in SEC play. That's the same as LSU. If we're trying to get to that double bye, we play Alabama in the last game of the season. You need Kentucky to handle their business in Rupp against Alabama. Do you think that they will?
Ooh, that's a big ball game. That's a big ball game. I'm gonna take Kentucky in that. I know a lot of people are jumping off the Kentucky bandwagon right now, but I think I can't trust Alabama shooting on the road. I think Kentucky does enough, and they don't have an answer for Sheboy, so I like Kentucky in that one.
All right, Auburn and Florida. Florida's a game behind LSU, and LSU beat them in Gainesville, so not a huge concern there, but one nonetheless. You need Auburn to go to the O'Connell Center and beat Florida. I believe they'll do that. The biggest game for LSU, I believe, at this point, is Tennessee at Arkansas. Arkansas is 9-4 in the league. That's a couple of games clear of LSU. And Arkansas beat LSU in Baton Rouge, so that's a significant hill to climb. So you would say, well, that's not going to happen. Well, it could, and here's why. Arkansas, at the end of their schedule, they are obviously hosting Tennessee. That's a really tough game. Then they're at Florida. That's a losable game. If it's not the most tough, it's losable. Then they're home for Kentucky, very losable. Then LSU plays them. You got to take care of your business there. Then they're at Tennessee. That's the last five. They're brutal. So while Arkansas is 2 games clear with the tiebreaker, you can even that by going to Bud Walton and winning, and you got to have Arkansas trip up a couple of times. It would be nice if that started against Tennessee in Bud Walton. How do you handicap that game?
Yeah, I actually like Tennessee. Tennessee's been playing extremely well. Vescovy has rhythm. Then Chandler's cutting the turnovers down, and he's bringing offensive presence to that lineup. And you see them also not having to start Fulkerson. He's coming off the bench, being that Tari Eason role for them and being that big off the bench that can score for them. So I like Tennessee in that game. Arkansas is getting that stretch run that we talked about LSU starting out SEC play with going through a gauntlet and seeming like you have to beat all these ranked opponents in a row. I think they're going to lose probably 3 or 4 of those games, and it's going to set up for LSU to have a matchup against them to really get that 4th spot and go into the SEC tournament with the extra bye.
So a lot of action on the hardwood tomorrow. What do you got in the LSU-South Carolina game? You think they're going to take care of business?
Oh, yeah. They're playing well, man. The former team that wasn't going to make the NCAA tournament.
I appreciate that.
They're going to be there. They're starting to play well, and Xavier back out there. I like them to go on the road and get that victory.
Well, I thought we were going to have Jack Besh, and then I think he left, so maybe we don't have Jack Besh. I'll check on that here in a second and see if we do. That's the plan, but if he left, that's okay. We still got plenty to talk about as we're getting ready for LSU and Maine tonight from the box, and LSU South Carolina on the hardwood tomorrow. So if you're looking for somewhere to eat some lunch, have a lunch break, or you're off this afternoon, come on by Walk-Ons on Burbank. We'll be here until 6 o'clock broadcasting our 3 shows right here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hunt Palmer, Jeremy Hill, Hunt and Hill. Our listeners fire up their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
To the heroes who are working tirelessly to care for our communities, we thank you. We will never forget the countless hours you dedicated on the front lines, choosing to risk your own health to fight for our friends, neighbors, and family members.
I mean, you guys are out on the front lines, fighting it.
We are grateful for your heroic acts and unwavering spirit. Together, we are overcoming this adversity and make our state healthier and more vibrant again. Ochsner Health.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Hunt and Hill, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
I'm rocking with politics.
Back here, Walk-Ons Bistro and Bar, Burbank and Nicholson getting ready for LSU in Maine. But let's change focus a little bit and talk a little football. Our pleasure now to be joined by a couple of guys who wear the purple and gold. Running back Josh Williams, and can I say wide receiver now?
Yeah,
we'll go with wide receiver Jack Besh. Guys, we appreciate y'all coming on. How are y'all?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Doing very good. We got a lot to talk about with y'all. I'm sure Jeremy's got a lot of questions, too. Y'all are over here talking in the break. I don't know what the heck's going on over there. I'm just trying to keep things on time. What was the last 2 months of last season like, understanding that there was going to be a change at the top of the program? A lot of assistant coaches may need to look elsewhere for jobs, and y'all are still expected to show up and go win games.
Yeah, it was just, our focus stayed the same. Knowing we're going to have a coaching change, stuff like that happens. It builds up stuff in us, but for the most part, we just focused on last season and didn't really get ahead of ourselves, even though we knew a change was going to be coming. But yeah, we just stayed focused on the goal, try to win every game we could, finish with the bowl game. But then once that happened, then we kind of changed our ship and our focus to the new staff, what they want from us and what they're expecting out of us.
Well, let's go there then. I mean, what was your new head coach's message to y'all the first time that he addressed you?
Coach Kelly, he's a great guy. He's a lot different from Coach O, but first time he addressed us, he basically said he wants us to trust each other more. He felt like we didn't trust each other.
Like accountability.
Accountability, yeah. He wants accountability, and he wants us to finish. He wants us to be disciplined, and he also wants us to, in lack of other words, to push through the finish line.
All right, talk about the impact Coach Falk had on you in his time here as a running back coach, and talk about some of the differences Coach Frank brings to the table being your new running back coach.
Coach Falk was a great coach. He knows a lot about the game, of course. Played a long time in the league, but Coach Wilson, he came in, had a couple meetings with him. Very, very great coach. He's all over us, texting us, calling us, meeting with us. So he's very hands-on coach. I'm enjoying it.
I want to talk to Jack. Talk about having to make that switch last season to the tight end position and all the challenges that presented to you, but also being able to be playing early on as a freshman in the SEC.
Yeah, I liked it. I mean, the reason I liked it is because it was getting me on the field early, and it also gave me, it made my game. I mean, I was pretty physical coming out of high school, but it made me that much more physical. I mean, I was blocking, what's his name from Bama, number 31?
Aaron Anderson.
Yeah, I was blocking Aaron Anderson, on a wide zone. I was blocking. So, I mean, it's definitely going to get my blocking now since I'm back in the wide receiver room. My blocking is going to be way more. Now I'm with DBs. I'm with kids smaller than me, not kids 2 times as big as me. So, I'm going to be able to be way more physical and dominate, the run game and help my backs get those explosive plays out the backfield. So that aspect of it definitely made me, way, I guess, more physical in that aspect of the game. And then obviously the route running part of the game, the receiver part of the game, really that all stayed the same. I was doing what I've been doing in high school, routing kids up and stuff like that, catching the rock. But now it's going to be just a little bit more of that. So I'm excited for it. And definitely Coach Hank too. Love Coach Hank. He, like he said, he's real hands-on. Always on us, even though it's early on, already diving into the playbook. He's expecting us to know everything he teaches us. So it's going to be good. I'm excited for it.
Jack Besh and Josh Williams are our guests here, Walk-Ons Bistro and Bar, getting ready for spring practice here coming up. I was going to ask y'all if y'all have had time to chat with position coaches and whatnot. It sounds like you have, so I'll ask you, Jack, you first about Coach Denbrock as he comes in to run the offense. What's been your early impressions of him?
I love Coach Denbrock. We've watched him film, what he did at Cincinnati. They do some really cool things, but it's pretty simple though. They do stuff that works, that's simple, but they'll bring out the bag some crazy plays that are also kind of make your eyes wide open that us as players love to do. So different things like that. Gonna get creative with the playbook. It's awesome having all these different coaches from all these different schools mix match and kind of throwing their own stuff about the offense. So I'm excited for it. I think we're gonna have a really good offense, a really good offensive scheme. I think their main thing, too, is get the ball to the playmakers in open space and let them do what they can do, which I think in college ball is, a big part of the game. So,
Josh, you've got a new quarterback, but he's not a new quarterback. Miles Brennan's a guy y'all are very familiar with. Obviously, he took his toe in the transfer portal water. He's going to come back and looks like he's got a real chance to win that job. What can you tell us about Miles and his presence in y'all's locker room thus far?
Miles is a leader. He's always been a leader. He's been real hands-on with us, trying to throw the ball outside of practices and workouts. He's been trying to meet. We've been meeting, and he's just a real true leader. Us being a part of the leadership group on the team, Miles really takes over and kind of pushes us in the direction to teach us how to lead and help us do that. So I think Miles is a great leader.
I got a question for Jack, especially playing early on as a freshman in the SEC. I know for myself, I wasn't that blown away, especially you go against some of these teams, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, some of these teams, they're not going to blow you away like a Bama or Georgia will. Was there anything that shocked you? I thought this would be a lot tougher than it probably was.
I think it kind of was everything overall. I mean, that's the SEC West. It's the hardest and best conference in college football. Many people call it the mini NFL, the amount of kids we produce every year. So, coming in, I thought it was going to be I thought I was really going to have to adapt and change, which obviously I did. Everybody has to. It doesn't matter if you're a 5-star, 0-star kid coming in playing early. But it was, I guess for me, it was more of understanding the game because I felt like I was physically prepared enough to do what I did. But it was more getting in the film room with coaches, asking them questions, starting to understand the game more and more and more, which is really going to help me elevate my game next year. Obviously, I want to get bigger, stronger, faster, elevate my game in every aspect I can. But another big part of that is going to be the mental aspect of it, which really separates people and really puts that gap in there.
Josh, let me ask you about John Emery, because obviously he was a guy who played for a couple years in Baton Rouge and then kind of had last year taken from him at the last second. No one, I don't know if he knew. We certainly didn't know from the outside, but he was always out there at practice with you guys, and certainly I think is an older guy in y'all's room. What do you think last year was like for him, and what could he add to y'all's room this year?
It was really tough for John, that season being taken away from him so unexpectedly. But John, like you said, stayed around, didn't let that hinder him from being a part of the team and being a leader on the team. John being back, he's been practicing hard, just being the same old John. And I think him being back, we're going to have a lot more success with versatility with running backs and being able to put people in different spots. So I'm excited.
Yeah, and I want to say something about John, too. He never skipped a beat. Like, he was, even though he knew he wasn't going to be playing, he was out there on the practice field with us every day, practicing, grinding, like he was playing the game on Saturday. So I just wanted to shout that out there and say John really stayed on the grind, worked hard, and really didn't let any of this phase him at all.
Jack Besh and Josh Williams are our guests here, Fighting Tiger football players. Obviously, the last 2 years' wins and losses have not been quite up to LSU's standard. We know that. Does this feel like an opportunity to re-put this thing back on the map in year one, or Coach Kelly?
Most definitely.
Yes,
most definitely. The talent we've filled in almost every gap we've had that needed to be filled. And not only did we fill it, but we filled it with some really talented guys. So I'm really excited with that. And then, Coach Kelly and the staff they brought in, those are some of the top coaches in the country throughout, from the receiver room, tight end room, running backs room to cornerbacks, D-line, safeties coach. So, our coaching is going to be there. We got the guys to do it, so I'm really excited for next season. I know he is too, just to, get the LSU standard back to what it is and maybe even exceed that. Or not maybe, but going to exceed that.
A person that you spend a lot more of your time with than you do with your position coaches, especially at this time of the season, is the strength and conditioning staff. I know a lot of us former players had a great relationship with Coach Moffitt. I want both of y'all to talk about y'all experience with Coach Moffitt and what kind of some of the newer things the new coaching strength and conditioning staff has kind of been implementing with y'all.
I love Coach Moffitt. He's a legend here at LSU, of course. Very, very hardworking coach. Puts us through a lot. The new coaching staff, Coach Flint and his staff from Notre Dame, they're amazing. They established a new, competition? New competition within the team itself. We all have, 10 SWAT teams?
Yeah, 10.
We have 10 SWAT teams with different leaders, and basically we did a draft, and we add points and take away points for meetings, lifts, and we compete in the lifts and have competitions during the lift, and we have a winner every week, and it's like a fun deal, and it's bringing the team together, so I'm excited about it.
Yeah, like you said, Coach Moffitt, legend here at LSU. He did a lot of good things here. How many national championships? 2, 3?
3.
Something like that. 3 over here at LSU, which is, pretty damn good if you ask me.
Yeah.
But, I guess there's always need for change, and that's what happened. And obviously Coach Flint and them, their staff came in. They've been awesome. They're always, no matter when we call them, when we hit them up, they're there to help us. Anytime you want extra work, it's going to be like 2 or 3 of them with you. It's not just going to be one. Like, they're always here to help us because they know, and they've all came and they've all told us, they're not here because it's LSU. They're here to win a national championship. So, they're working as hard like that every day. And like he said about the SWAT teams, they implemented this system where every day, even if it's just a slight lift, we're going to be competing against one another, which gets you stronger, faster, which gets your mental game up. We always do little competitions, just who's going to last the longest, who's going to be the toughest one in the group, and who's going to be able to outstand and do the toughest stuff, which I think is really cool because not only is it doing stuff on a personal level, but like he said, it's on a team level. It's bringing everybody closer together while everybody's competing and trying to be on top.
Jack Besh and Josh Williams are our guests here for one more question. I want to ask, I get different. I work with a lot of guys who play football at LSU, and everybody's got kind of a different feeling on spring football. Some veterans don't really need it. Some we got to get reps. You got a new system on both sides of the ball. You got a new head coach. How intense is spring going to be this year?
I think spring is going to be intense because it's our first year with the new coaching staff, and it's a new playbook and a new system. So I think the reps matter. The reps really do matter. We got a lot of transfers coming in, and we just kind of got to get a feel for our team and what we're going to do going into the training camp.
Yeah, and for me, it's kind of like a clean slate. If you were acting up with the old staff or if you were great with the old staff, that's something everybody gets a clean slate and has to prove themselves again to the new staff. You know what I mean? You have to learn this playbook. You have to know what you're doing. You have to win every rep like it was the last staff, because, you know, like once you get into the season, like last year, you start doing good, you know you kind of have your spot. Now, like every spot is up for the taking.
You got to go earn.
So you really got to show these coaches, you know, that you deserve that spot and you're going to work hard and that you're going to keep that spot and maintain it. So that's what I'm excited about, just to be able to compete again, you know, with everybody in the receiver room, because we're going to have a really good receiver room. I know they're going to have a really good running back room. So I'm excited to reprove myself. He's excited to reprove himself, and just like anybody else on the team.
It's really hard to get a college kid up from a plate of food, and that's what we did with those two. Y'all get back to it, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Jack Besh and Josh Williams. One more segment to go from walk-ons here on Burbank. It's Hunt and Hill.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Brake Medics, BrakeMedics.com, brake repair anywhere. Look, they got a warranty that goes with every time they come out to service your brakes. 24 months, 24,000 miles, nationwide is that warranty. And they'll come to your house, like I said. They'll come to your place of work. Like I said, they'll bring that blue and red truck. They'll get the jack out. They will service those brakes in a little over an hour. They'll cool for about half an hour, and you'll be on the road. No sitting in waiting rooms, no traffic, no bumming rides, no missing work or missing time on the couch like I was when they helped me out and serviced my brakes a couple of weeks ago. Brake Medics is an unbelievably convenient service here in Baton Rouge.
Yeah, all you got to do is go to BrakeMedics.com for your free quote today. You log into their website, you put the make, year, and model of your vehicle, and whatever brake symptoms you may be dealing with at the time, they'll have all those options right there on the website for you to put in. Put your name, email, and phone number, and BrakeMedics.com will get back to you with a free quote today.
And he just said it. Brake Medics at BrakeMedics.com. We make house calls. Yeah, promo's good. I got you. Ready to roll?
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
One more segment to go here, Hunt and Hill from Walk-On's Bistro and Bar. As we do every single day to end the show, let's do some take it or leave it, Mr. Hill.
All right, let's do it. John Gassaway of ESPN.com said the Fighting Tigers of LSU, they're locked to make the NCAA tournament. Are you taking or leaving? LSU basketball, they're already done enough to make the tourney.
And done enough yet. The bottom could fall out. You could lose the last 6, and that ain't last 5, and that ain't going to get it. So no, I don't think they've done enough just yet. But they're close. They are close. You go on the road and win this one, win a home game against Missouri, you're in good shape. So I think they're the massive odds is they're going to make it. They couldn't lose out from here though, and still get in. So I will go ahead and leave that. College football playoffs are not expanding. That decision was made earlier today. They're going to stick with 4 teams for the next 4 years. That's the right thing. Take it or leave it.
I guess I'll take it. I know there's a lot of people that are against the expansion right now and saying, look, well, the top 4 teams are going to be at the end anyway, so what's the point of expanding it? I'll give you 2 reasons. 1, there's going to be a lot more money to divvy out between these universities. And 2, there's always that Cinderella story. We've seen Boise State take down Oklahoma. We've seen some crazy upsets in college football history. So I think with this expansion, it's going to open up that opportunity for that to happen. And, of course, if my Tigers slip up and lose 2 games, hey, we're right in it. So, well, we'll see how that goes down the road here.
I'm pro 8. I'm pro 12. Keep as many people as you can alive. I'm just tired of people being done with their season in October. That's not as much fun. Let's keep people interested and win a couple big games in November and see if you can't squeeze your way into the playoff. I'd rather expand it, but that's just me talking. Joel Embiid scored 42 last night on the road against the defending champs. Of course, those are Milwaukee Bucks. Joel Embiid is the MVP favorite. Take it or leave it.
I'll take that now. It's trending that way. You shipped off 3 players, actually. Ben Simmons, who hadn't played a lick all season. Seth Curry, Andre Drummond, his backup big, and he's still playing at an MVP level. Multiple 40-point games, double-doubles. He's just shutting down Giannis in the fourth quarter. Embiid's the real deal. Now he's pairing that up with Harden. I don't know if that's going to help or hurt his chances to win MVP, but right now it's really, really looking like, Joel Embiid's got to go ahead and win that. All right, last one here. Tom Van Harn of ESPN.com says the LSU football team is one of the 10 worst teams in the country with their departures that they suffered in the transfer portal from the 2021 season. Are you taking or leaving? Brian Kelly has done enough to replace some of those losses due to the transfer portal.
To be clear, he didn't say they were one of the 10 worst in the country. For those listening, when you're looking at it, he said it was the losses were one of the 10 worst. Yeah, you lose Ricks, you lose Johnson, you lose McLaughlin, you lose Trey Palmer, whoever. It's a lot, especially when you lose your starting quarterback and you lose your 2 best corners. Yeah, that's a lot. But I'll take it. I'll take Brian Kelly and what he's done in the transfer portal because I can. It doesn't mean they're going to be great. I'm just going to have an optimism about me in February before they kick it off on Labor Day. Can I at least have some optimism right now in the middle of this? Maybe we'll get into it and they won't look very good at Florida State and I'll turn. But in February, when I'm still locked in on baseball and basketball, I can't have some negative football feelings in my life right now. So I'm going to head and not do that. Let's look at the Citizens Bank poll question of the day. We asked it to you on Twitter, 1045 at 1045 ESPN. Where does LSU's baseball season end? The regional, the super regional in Omaha, or as the national champs of college baseball? The results are in. 4% of you said it ends in a regional. 24% of you said it ends in a super regional. The winner and overwhelming favorite, 54% say the season ends in Omaha. 17% say they're taking the trophy. Number 7's coming back to Baton Rouge. We've got to repaint the Intimidator. They're going to be national champs. What do you say about the answer to that? Regional, super regional, Omaha, or national champs?
I'm going to go Omaha right now. I think it's going to be – if the questions were answered about this pitching staff and I knew you had a Friday night starter, a guy that's going to be a pinch-hit first-round draft pick that we could really depend on, especially with some of these lineups you're going to be going with, I'd say national championship. I'll take the humble approach. I think this team gets to Omaha.
Super humble.
Yeah, this team still gets to Omaha, but I can't pencil in that national championship right now.
One thing you're looking for this weekend at the box, anything from personnel, pitching, hitting, home runs? Like, what are you looking for at the box?
I want to see who the Sunday starter is going to be.
Yeah.
I want to see what guy earned that right away, because I'm sure the way Jay Johnson's been talking with everything, all these guys have earned it. Nothing you did last year matters. So whoever I think he does put in that position, I think they're trending in the right direction, and hopefully they can show in their play in some of these games. So I'll be looking forward to that.
I would like for LSU to go out there tonight and score 16 runs and beat them 16-1 after Money goes 4 shutout innings. That would be preferable to me. But I'll also find a lot of joy because it's chilly outside, it's cold, the bats have a little trouble getting going, and we get to the 7th inning with LSU with a 1 or 2 run lead. You see Eric Raiselman come in throwing 97 miles an hour, striking out the side in the 7th. See Devin Fontenot in there for the 8th and 9th and slam the door. And you look at maybe something that could be moving forward really special with Fontenot and Raiselman at the back end. I'll throw Paul Gervais in there as well. There's a lot of guys that could go and pitch some in the back end. But LSU has the potential to have some really special bullpen arms, and maybe tonight we get a glimpse at that in the box. Either way, you got 3 entire games to look at. And look, Monday, I've already dubbed it. Monday on the baseball side is going to be overreaction Monday. We're going to see 3 baseball games out of 56, and everybody's got to make these massive sweeping judgments. And we'll do that on Monday. We'll say these guys are terrible. These guys are all Americans. They're winning the national championship. They're not winning a game in the postseason. It'll all be there on Monday after 3 games of the Jay Johnson era. However, I'm just ready to get out there and check it out at the box. We are out here at Walk-On's Bistro and Bar and have been having a blast. The guys in the morning we're here from 7 to 10. We have been here with you since noon and having a blast doing it. Mario and Musso are going to be with you from 2 to 3 with early line here at Walk-Ons, and then Matt Moscona after further review from 3 to 6. That's basically going to be just a huge tailgate party in here, and we will be here for it as we get ready for a 6:30 first pitch over there at the box. If you missed any of our show today, it was an absolute blast. You will not want to miss it if you go back and check it out on YouTube or on demand 1045 ESPN.com. We open things up with 30 minutes of Paul Menari between 12:15 and 12:45. Walk down memory lane with Coach, who was awesome, going through some great memories of his decade and a half here in Baton Rouge. We had Leah Van on from The Advocate to kick off hour number 2 and just chatted with Josh Williams and Jack Besh here about LSU football. So it's been a lot of fun, Mr. Hill. How many games does LSU win out at the box this weekend?
3. Come on now. Come on. If we lose to Maine, then you're going to see some real overreaction on Monday. So, but I'm gonna go. They sweep them this weekend. I just think it's too much firepower in that bad lineup. Even if some pitchers, have some off starts, or they're out of there after 2 innings and you're going to your bullpen. I think this bad lineup is going to be too much for Maine. I do as well. I've just got a cold beer delivered to me, so my work week is over. I am about to go back in that room and enjoy a couple of beers, some delicious food. If you're in the area, come on by Walk-Ons until 6 o'clock. We'll be here. Or if you just want to watch the game at Walk-Ons, you can do that as well. I'm going to go out there and brave the cold and watch the beginning of the Jay Johnson era. Very much looking forward to that. LSU in South Carolina tomorrow. Got gymnastics tonight. Got women's basketball on Sunday. We're very much looking forward to it. We'll see you Monday. It's Hunt and Hill.